Perfect. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday Power Hour. We have a special guest today, one of my dearest friends, Stephen Lavoti. Before we get started, I just wanted to do a couple of housekeeping tips. So we just started a brand new 30-day in our team page. So I would love it if some of you guys committed to posting something every day regarding health tips or exercise ideas, things that will help bring people forward for the next 30 days, because we have a few brand new people and some old people who are recommitting to doing 30 days. And what we're going to do is hashtag like day 1, day 2, day 3, so that when people join afterwards, they can follow along by looking up the hashtags. Okay. So that's the one thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about, housekeeping tips, is that we've joined forces with Raina. We're going to be doing our team call on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. For those of you who cannot join us and be there live, we will record it, but it kind of works in the schedule for most people. So I think that's a great way to end the week and start the week. And we're going to be doing a lot of things collectively with Stephen, with Raina, and I feel like we all have the same kind of like vibe. We're the people with working with heart, and we're heart-led leaders. So without further ado, I'm going to have Stephen unmute. He has been graciously generous to be here this morning to help us, figure out how to use LinkedIn. I know some of you feel like, wow, it's overwhelming. I never used it. I don't know how to use it. It's different there. It's a different modality. But realistically, if you think about it, and this is how I take everything, it's like, just be a person. Just be a person and just like connect with people and be authentically yourself and really just make conversations with people. Things will come up and you'll be able to start a conversation about what you do or what they do and how you can help them. But I think Stephen has been using that format for a long time, platform for a long time. And he has a lot of great tips and tricks and things that we could use to further ourselves with it. Thanks, Stephen, for being here this morning. Love you.
Yeah, of course. I love you. I'll share. I've been on LinkedIn since my days of corporate America, and I've used it effectively. I really did not use it much in corporate because I wasn't passionate about what I did. Probably the bottom line of it. And when I was in Spokane, I used it a lot. I actually hired someone and got a software program that was sending out my messages, self-generated, to 25 people a day. And when they connected, it was my message and they're self-generated in the second follow-up message, but it was my words and how I was exploring this platform. And the reason I did that, I kind of rolled the dice, and whether it was cheap or expensive, it's, subjective, I guess. The goal was to build up a lot of connections, so I ended up building up 2,200 connections plus, and was setting appointments rapid fire, 2 to 4 a day, Zoom calls, phone calls, right away offline. And that's how I look at social media. So I'm going to share what I do, give you a little bit behind the scenes of what I do on LinkedIn. If it makes sense to you, apply it. If it doesn't, work where you're comfortable. I could say, like, I'm not comfortable on Instagram. It's just not it's just not my platform. I'm really comfortable on LinkedIn, and and Facebook. It's kind of here and there. Most people I'm connected to on Facebook are Isagenix. So to Susie's point and to Michael Klaus's point, the principles really don't change in this business, and I think we've really seen it the last couple of years with our craving to want to be together. Also from having a sales background, and there's, lack of a better way of saying it, like techniques from corporate that certainly apply to this venture. And I don't think it varies, again, too much, because at the bottom line of everything, going back to Dale Carnegie's teachings, people work with people they know, they like, and they trust. And for me, it's really important, above all, to establish that first. So while we may have a great product, collagen or the hair revival, so on and so forth, I am not driven by selling products, which is kind of tricky because you know how great these products work. I'm more driven by finding pain points and partnering up with somebody and being part of the solution. So does that make sense so far? So if I'm just messaging back and forth with one of you and I've never talked to you, I find that very difficult to do. I don't know if I know, like, or trust you. I don't know if you know, like, or trust me. I don't know if you have any pain points. It might take quite a few conversations, depending on what's going on in someone's life, right? Also, you have an agenda on this platform in particular, right? People are on this business networking platform for their reason. So I'd rather find out about you and then share a little about me. So it's a process of doing that. Recently, I'm like very close to actually hiring this woman. It's quite expensive, to be my business strategy coach. And you'll see her in my LinkedIn message box. I've known her for a couple of years now. And we've like, I know the name of her husband, her kids, and she's seen Ariel and Candace on Zooms. Like, we've developed a really strong connection. And she's gotten me in front of networks, networking in particular with this one particular networking group, and also with people that she knows. And she's looking to she was on products before, she's looking to get back on products. So my first thinking about network marketing is networking, not marketing, networking. And maybe I'm just lucky because I'm wired to be a networker, but I think most people are. We're building relationships from when we're kids, and friendships from when we're kids, and connecting with people on common ground. And I think at some point, each of you in your life, and anyone you talk to, at some point in their life, shared something with someone to help them, right? We hear that often. Right now, it's contractors. I have a painter just came into my basement this morning through my realtor, who was the referral, because I need to have my basement painted. I went through my network, and that's what we do. So again, the networking piece, I don't want to overlook it. And the importance of finding out what people do and what drives them to do that. It's really important, because if someone was having a conversation with me in my commercial insurance days, why did I choose that job? What makes me so passionate about it? They might have caught me at a point where I'm like, I am totally miserable doing this. I may not say that right away, but that may lead to another opportunity. So I like to ask people questions, and I'll share some of those. So the goal, in my opinion, or how my goals in social media platforms, is to get offline into a conversation as fast as possible. It's like text messaging. You ever get a text message and you go back, and then they come back, and then you go back, and just pick up the phone at this point. Like, I've hit my text message limit. It's usually about 5 or 6. If we're going back and forth, I'm just like, let's just pick up the phone for 2 minutes and actually have a conversation. Another thing I wanted to talk about is posturing. Jamie and I talked about this past week. People love to buy. We know this. They hate to be sold. All of us are like that. And all of us, especially on the East Coast, tend to put our guard up right away if we feel like someone's trying to get to us for a reason that benefits them. It's just human design. So the posturing is to pull people towards us, not push them away. So can anyone experience that? Because has anyone done either or both? So I've certainly pushed people away many times, right? So I look at this as a journey. It's a buyer's journey. Now, that being said, you might post a picture of collagen, you might post my before, progress picture of my hair growth or whatever, and someone may say like, wow, I need that, let's talk. Certainly works from the marketing point of view as well. But for where I'm building, I'm more interested in the networking piece. Again, before and afters, we know image. Andre Agassi were kind of all in that age group when he used to say image is everything. Remember that marketing campaign? Image is everything. No, am I the only one? Okay, Susie. So I think about drawing people towards me, not pushing them away. And then Jamie and I just came up in our conversation. It was unplanned, but I was just thinking like, how does this relate to what I do and to Jamie? And the words came out. It's words and music. What was that? Eddie and the Cruisers. Remember that movie? All right. Words and music. And I find tough crowd this morning. I find with words and music, if you're saying something that doesn't feel right and authentic to you, people are not going to receive it well. You could say the same conceptual thing, but I think it's really important to hone in on our words and how that really resonates with us as we're saying it, and will more than likely resonate with people, as we're speaking to them. And I say this often. I think one of the biggest lies we're told as kids is sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Words are everything. Words start fights, words cause wars, words bring, peace. Of course, action too, but it's the words, and the words we say internally, we all know that. We talked about head junk, and then on the other side, affirmations. Words are extremely powerful. So I think it would behoove us to work on our words and how we speak to people and what we say and what we're going to say, and plan that out. So I love personal development work, and you talk to most network marketers, and I don't know if anyone's seen this differently. The most people that are attracted to this business are people that are in endeavors of personal growth. They value it, and networkers, right? Network marketers are great, but people that appreciate networking. So knowing that when I'm talking to people, I'm looking to establish or learn really about them, establish some type of connection, and just see if there's potential for collaboration, right? Does this make sense so far? Right? Is it reinforcing some things you've probably heard? Susie's probably said it 1,000 times. And I think about David Wood, and if you haven't been to University in Action and you're serious about building this business, I just think do whatever it takes to get there to Phoenix in May, because 10 plus years, and I don't know how many events I've been to that training 5 times. Not only not for me, it's also for being there with my team, because it's so hands-on. It's so hands-on. And one of the greatest things that he teaches is finding common ground. And so I'll highlight this example. I was in a networking meeting. That's why I got up and went off camera before. Of course, as I get on this call, spring is here, lawnmowers are going, noise outside the windows. If anything's bleeding through, we'll have to deal with it. Was on this networking call, made some connections, set some appointments. This guy messaged me right away. We got on a call. I didn't even talk to him on his networking Zoom. Got right on a call. We spent an hour and a half on a call the day after he had messaged me on LinkedIn. And I was thinking about this prior to this call. As we were talking, I'm thinking, almost not even consciously, but it's there. He's a father, I'm a father. He's a husband, I'm a husband. He values health and wellness, I value health and wellness. He's a businessman, I'm a businessman. Like there's naturally happening these common ground connections. He's East Coast, I'm East Coast. He's traveled, but he's military, I'm not, but I've traveled, a good amount. So we're just in conversation, naturally bonding because we had a good amount in common. And that's difficult, I think, to do through messaging, right? So you get on a call. We also had the third-party credibility because we met through a networking group, and we have the same coach who's part of that networking group who's vouching for both of us. So, again, the group, the networking, collaboration. And then just comes the last point, and then I'll go into my LinkedIn. This came up in my coaching, and I really like, yeah, and this is it. Like there's 2 offers that happen in sales. There's a compelling offer, which is like a buy now, right? Buy one, get one free shipping on your order. So do you want to say something? No, okay. There's this kind. Now, I was having to have had the benefit, if you will, of being around Michael Klaus so much. The networking group is I met someone on LinkedIn who has a networking group that I'm paying for to join. So, you can find networking groups anywhere. I have another one that I found locally. I didn't even seek either of them out. People sought me out. So that's how I got into those networking groups. And again, this is because I'm having conversations with people. So you can Google search. I know there's meetup groups, there's different groups. And I'm totally willing to equip you, like Jamie and I talked about this, with what I'm learning from this woman in sound bites and how to create a 30-second story, what to say when you're in front of people, but it's got to be your words and music. I can give you the outline. I'll email it to Sue. She could share it with you. Because, like, especially me investing in this, and we're all on the same team. I think, Farah, you may be on the cross line. It doesn't matter to me. We're one team, and the mission matters to me especially in this climate. It's been forever. Let's face it, this world's nuts since I remember. I don't remember this world being not scary, totally sane, and paradise. So we have to make our own paradise. So I'm willing to help because we have a vehicle and a means to help other people. So anything I could do to help with that process, I'm going to share it, especially since I'm paying for it and it could help everyone, right? Yeah. So, okay, so the two offers, it's a compelling offer, which I don't really, and I realize why I don't like doing this. And this goes back to when we first had even the coupons for free shipping and all that kind of stuff. I think the psychology of it sets people up with the wrong expectations. I'd rather people figure out the skill set of doing the buyer's journey, connecting, finding pain points, collaboration, developing common ground, know, like, and trust, than, hey, here's the sale, buy now. Because if you haven't heard Danielle talk about it, there was such deep discounts in December that when it came time to buy the second time around, there was a jack up in the price. And I don't think that feels good to people. The price didn't go up. The price remained what it was. We just had this deep discount at the initial buy-in. So, there's a skill set in there too, if you're going to enroll someone that way, to set the expectations, and if you're skilled at getting someone to consultant, you're going to help them right away. But, there's a lot of time for most of us that it takes to develop a skill. And what I find in network marketing, people assume they're going to skyrocket because they see success here that you don't really see in other endeavors, especially with the lack of, not lack, but without so much a need to invest into a business, like a conventional business. And we have to manage that within ourselves and within people re-enroll. So the compelling offer, it targets buyers, it sets expectations, I think, and the disadvantage is just sacrificing, or we're not, because we're not, maybe a little bit like sacrificing price and profitability, but I think that's more from a corporate point of view because we're still getting PIBs and all that stuff. The second way is what's called an informational offer. So this is, it's three ways. I'll just say it's like guiding someone, right? Guiding someone, educating them. We do it, right? We have webinars, we have the Wealthy Wednesdays, Zoom calls, one-on-one consulting, all of that. We have a money back guarantee as well, thanks to Isagenix. So it's more giving. So it's not like leading with a certain way, and this is where I think we also get tripped up. To me, it's leading with the connection, finding out what that person does, finding out if we're a match for anything that they're looking for, and we can partner up with them to make them better. And this is a big mistake I made in the beginning of my journey with Isagenix. I was coming at everyone, like, you can have freedom, you can have the, great health, you can make all this money. Look what Lisa did with, it's being recorded, but the company, I don't know why it's such a secret to not talk about the prior company, but I was literally calling people up like a fire hose and pushing them away, not taking into consideration they had families, a mortgage, a job, whatever. But they may be looking for something I have in conjunction with Isagenix to offer. But I was so much about what I saw, not even so much for me, but for people, but not taking into consideration, how do I get them to see this for themselves and choose something out of it that they may want? Does this all make sense? Is this helpful? Okay, because I really think the posturing matters so much. So let's
Stephen, I love that you said that. I just wanted to interject because when you were doing that in the beginning, you were coming from the place of yourself instead of thinking of the other person. So it almost comes out as cringy, or like people kind of like, pull back from that. But then when you're just having a conversation, and I've noticed this in the last few, because I've changed the way I'm talking to people, just reaching out for no reason, kind of just saying hello, doing a wellness check on my friends, kind of that kind of thing. People open up a lot more to you. And then you really do have the platform to like just say, hey, listen, I hear you talking about this. I'm not really sure if this is something that could be for you, but this is what I have going on for me. I'd love to share it with you if you're open to hearing about it. But I just noticed that when I was coming from a place of me, kind of just wanting to introduce it to them and telling them what I do, yeah, it will grab some people's attention, but most people will kind of like, put the X out and not want to hear what you're saying.
So well said. It's like so well said. And you can feel it, right? Do any of you feel that when someone's coming at you and you're like, get away, like just get away from me. Like I don't even, Jamie.
I can totally feel that because people don't want to be sold right now. There's so many people on Facebook and Instagram selling, like everyone. I can't stand it, to be honest with you. It's gross. And it's a turn off. And it makes you think like, do I look like that? I don't want to look like that. Like I don't want to be that person. I want to offer value. I want to get to know people on a different level. And I think like it's great to see all the network marketers out there and people like embracing this business model and structure. But at the same time, it's kind of like overwhelming for people, and it's just devaluing what we do, which is why I started doing lives, trying to like explain to people and give information and expose us a little bit more so that it's a little bit different than what they see. I mean, there's so much stuff out there getting thrown around. So I feel that deeply.
I'm so glad you brought that up too, because what I'm noticing on LinkedIn and in these networking groups is the approach is so different. Things just go out of style. Like the days of getting up in front of a room, even in networking events, and saying, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. If you want it, I'm here. It doesn't really work. It's just people are tired of it. It's more of like, here's some 3 points of what could be happening. And I'll give you an example. In my networking, and I shared this with Jamie, and I'll share this exact verbiage in the chat. And you can customize it, or you can use the exact words. It makes no difference to me. Sorry, this guy's like mowing like right in front of the house. I've been recognized to help people, I've been recognized to help take the guesswork out of getting the right vitamins, minerals, nutrients, protein into your body so you can move, feel, look, and essentially be better in all aspects of life. As a result, enhancing sleep, energy, performance, focus, with the goal to live a long, healthy life. What do you do? Right? I worked at that. Now, I don't know how that sounds to each of you, but I could tell you this, I set 4 appointments saying that in a networking thing, group. And then I'm like, that's it. So I uncovered what's the benefit? I didn't say anything about isogenics. I didn't say anything. It took me a while to work that out. I was like, we have nutritional products delivered right to your door. And she's like, no, you're getting into the how. Get into the benefit. I wasn't talking about me, made it about them. And then I hit the point of what the value is for nutrition. Now, I'm working on another one from a business point of view. But I'll send Susie, it's probably easiest if I just email Susie this outline. We could have this conversation again, by the way. This is not a one and done, because it takes time, right? It takes time to recreate a new identity towards something we're working towards. It takes time to develop habit that supports the vision. Like, I think that's overlooked too. Like, oh, boom, I got this goal. Boom, I'm gonna run with this. But no. And to your point, Jamie, people are tired of all this stuff. Where I'm seeing a big difference, because I've been in quite a few conversations now with people on LinkedIn, business-minded people, is they value collaboration, they value networking, they value getting to know each other. And if we're a fit, great. And if we're not, whatever, like maybe down the road, we'll touch base. And then you start developing a better sales term pipeline, right, of prospects, rather than just blindly like reaching out to people, like hoping that at 1 out of 25 or 1 out of 10 that messaging, like it's gonna go somewhere. Yeah. And having and just showing up that way, it's a more efficient way, in my opinion, in my experience of working. I don't want to, I honestly don't want to, because I'll do whatever it takes. But why do, you could do 25 reach outs, you could do 10 reach, you could do 5 reach outs. Reach outs are easy. It's a matter of seconds, right? But my goal is right now, especially with my schedule, is to have 4 to 5, but really 4 quality conversations a week. I was at the point I was doing 2 to 4 a day. I'm at a different place in my business, and I'm in a different, I'd like to think a higher level of skill of how I'm doing this, but it took time, and I'm still a work in progress. You know what I mean? So people are looking for collaboration. If you look at my LinkedIn wallet, which we will, this guy, Dan Sullivan, whose book I'm just about done reading, I would suggest reading it. It was given to me by Mark Murphy, Lisa's fiance. It's called Who Not How. It's to all these principles,
Stephen, just
yeah.
back to what you just said, and this is the pivotal key where people are missing, I think, the point, is having the conversations. Yeah, you can be messaging people all day. You can go back and forth banter all day. If you're not really talking to a human, you're really not doing your job. I feel like for me, if I'm not talking to at least one person, if not every day or every other day, then realistically, I'm not sharing my story with someone, and I'm not able to connect with that person in a way in which they would join my business. Yes, I'll get a ton of customers. That's fine. I've done customers through text message and not even talked to them once. But that's not what I'm looking for here. If you're looking to create a six-figure, multiple six-figure income, you really want to have those quality conversations and connect with people on another level where you're really getting to know who they are and what they're looking for, and sharing your vision. And if they're looking for the same vision or something to that effect, then you guys can grow together. Am I right when I'm saying that?
I agree, and there's nothing wrong with both, right? There's nothing wrong with we need customers. And the majority of people, let's face it, especially I would say in my age group, what I noticed, they're not jumping into building a big business with me. They are willing, though, to be a fan and to share this from an authentic place if I could get them dialed into an authentic experience. And the whole process helps with retention too. I'll give you another example. The guy painting downstairs, again, he was a referral from a friend. As soon as I called him, I'm like, I clicked with this guy. As soon as he got here, I'm like, I clicked. As soon as I met him, I'm like, give me as many business cards as you can. So I have a bunch of people coming here on Wednesday, and if they need a painter, I'm having them contact you. That didn't take long for me to develop the know, like, and trust part. He didn't ask me for anything. He just showed up. In a way, I'm like, this guy's the pro. He's priced right. I could just tell he was the pro. We want to be that for people in their networks. I'm very busy. This person helped me to implement this nutrition into my life in a very busy lifestyle, performing better at my job. Oh, by the way, talk to Susie. She's the one that helped me, like, with my energy, my focus, losing some weight. I feel better, look better, move better. What we bring to the table. So yeah, like, I totally in alignment with that. And again, like, getting people offline. So even me saying 4 to 5. Once I get in that rhythm, I may have the capacity to do 8 to 10 a week, because I'm also vetting people quickly and more so from a place of thought is, do I value this person enough to be in my network? You all have a lot to offer in your networks. If you really think about who's in your network, who do you know for whatever reason, someone needs, I don't know what it is, and they ask you for advice, and you're like, oh, I know this person does this. And we all have networks, right? Entrepreneurs think that way. So the who, not how, this book talks about that. So I just want to know who's in my network on LinkedIn. So let's get to it. Let's share the screen. Hey, zoom up. So you can go through the coaching. Like let's start with the profile. This is good. I mean, I think if people, and I spent time with my about section, which I could never find. It's so funny. So banner, I had one lady, I mean, I don't want, just observation. It was all about her networking marketing company. Let's say I had like Isagenix up here. It was like her company name and all this stuff. Maybe that works if someone's looking to partner with that company. But what I've learned in branding, which when I first heard about this, I'm like trying to figure out like, what's my branding, all of that kind of stuff. We want people to think about us, and lead them to the solution. And, so that I understand that. So I don't have anything really that says Isagenix here. Until you go down here, I did work at this and I like it. If someone wants to learn about me, and a lot of people do, I see, obviously on LinkedIn, you can see who's viewing your profile. These are the followers that have activity wherein posts. So content, identified this with me, like, what do I bring to the table that's different? I love coaching, so a lot of what I post, and I'll do before and after pictures. I will do Isagenix content posting, but things that inspire me, again, authentic to me. things that are meaningful, that I'm adding value. That's why I look at the newsfeed. Facebook's a little different because I think sometimes people have expectations on LinkedIn that are more business and team and things like that. I think Facebook's expectations are more like what's going on in your life, your family, et cetera, and people connect more on common ground there. So, just do meaningful content to you, but stuff that's adding value. And that's how I look at this. So I just love this quote. It's the best image I could come up with, and it's good enough for me. I may change this year and update it and update the picture. So just think about how you're representing yourself here and come up with it. My opinion, so I don't read things that are lengthy. I try to get to the point quick. I like that it's, things, I like reading stuff that's spaced out so I can get to the points. This may work for you. You may like it, you may not. If you like it, apply what you like. If you don't like it, omit what you don't like and apply what feels better to you. So the posts. So this is my recent post.
You have Isagenix in your profile.
I do, I don't.
I noticed that you don't.
No. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't. I mean, I don't know how much it matters in that. Maybe someone's looking for Isagenix. Sometimes I hashtag it. People message me and they realize it or something. Maybe I've talked to them. I don't know, but I just don't, because I'm also looking for other opportunities in all honesty, because I have one stream of income. So I am really looking to see who's who as well. And who knows, and I say this in conversations, Susie, I really want to learn what you do. And, if you're interested in what I do, I'm happy to share it with you. But I don't know how you feel, but for me personally, I like to get to know people. And if we have, we know, obviously we're getting to know each other, we develop trust, we like each other. Would it be safe to assume that you may think of me down the road if something pops up and vice versa? And I've yet to have someone say no, So again, I'm going back to how I network. I'm looking to just get to know who's who and develop common ground and see if I have something to offer that benefits them now and vice versa. And if not, we stay in touch. So this guy, Dan Sullivan, he's mentored Mark, my sister's fiance. He co-authored a book called Who Not How. I recommend it. I'm reading Atomic Habits. I recommend that. I recommend reading and becoming a reader, not just reading a book for the sake of reading a book. This is in this book, Atomic Habits. Start reading books so you develop the habit of reading, so this is what I'm talking about. This is where I think a lot of people are looking let's collaborate. It's not about competition. If there's a means to collaborate, let's go there. And I'm finding this as I talk to people. I want to find people coming from that space of collaboration, and we may have nothing in common, and that's fine. So I just put this post up here now to views. And then the messaging.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
I see that you have the premium version. What is the difference with the regular and paying for the premium?
Yeah, so I got it a while back. It's one, I think if anyone's on here seriously looking at people, it shows that you're serious. You get this Sales Navigator tool, which you could do customized searches, have things in a separate feed along with messaging, follow people separately. I've looked into this and I'm just getting back on here, and I would just say Google search it, because there's different levels.
Okay.
It's like a $29 a month, a $79 a month.
Got it.
Gives you a wider range, of searching, right? And then also gives you like this separate, which I'm not fully familiar with the Sales Navigator. I was using it, I stopped, I have to relearn it again. Sometimes messages go here and not into my inbox, like Charlene, I'm talking to her tomorrow. So it's like something else to manage. But that's a great question. I'm going to Google search that as well. But I'm thinking
Okay,
more of like,
thanks.
yeah. And Farah?
Yes, I got it. No, I was just saying thanks. I'm gonna keep it normal right now and see until I figure things out. Because I know it's probably simple. The girl that I'm doing my website with, she uses LinkedIn, and she said that whatever we're posting on the other social media, just post it here so you don't overcomplicate yourself, and it will go into a different network.
Yeah,
people.
I mean, I do that with some posts. Sometimes I tailor them differently. Sometimes I don't do any of the same. And has any merit or not, or it's any, if it's valid or not, but I have noticed, I'm saying this to Candace, the last few times I posted on multiple platforms at the same time, I didn't get traffic. And I don't know if that's just coincidence. It has to do with the content, or it has to do that I put up a post on like Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and my Facebook fan page all at the same time.
Right,
where
right. No,
I
get
don't
it.
know if there's any merit to that or not.
But I'm saying like the picture, and maybe like it's a different audience, so I'll change it a little bit of the caption, like the same I do with Instagram. I don't post the same Instagram post on my Facebook. I kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's a different audience. My Facebook page, you would think people know me. I have so many people on Facebook. I don't know who most of them are, and I've really tried to weed through that. Same thing on LinkedIn, but the people are going on LinkedIn for a specific reason, and it's to network for business. People are going on Facebook for various reasons, mostly to keep in touch with people that they know for the most part, Instagram, I honestly don't know much about it. Candace is starting to do reels. I don't, I kind of don't like Instagram because it's just too, I don't like putting pictures of Ariel up there, but I may, and I just think it's kind of just too far out there in reach, where I don't know who's creeping on that platform.
You should start making music videos on Reels. Hello.
Yeah, so I have a whole strategy of like even doing lives and stuff like that and delivering content. But so let's get into some messaging. So Robbins Research, Tony Robbins, this is obviously like sponsored. So we don't even need to go this, but let's look at it for content. Let's say this to someone. If you're ready and you have your own business, you plan to start, about all this stuff. Now, this is different. It's coming from someone that people know. But in general, if someone just blasts me something like this, I may read it, but I don't think it's a nice, engaging introduction to somebody. Vladimir and I, like we go way back when, to 2019. I must have sent him a connection. Yeah. So this is back to when I was using the software program, and you don't have to invest in this. You could do this manually. And I suggest doing something like this. So let's say Jamie and I don't know each other, but Susie and I know each other. And I do a search for entrepreneurs in New Jersey, and Jamie comes up. Now, here's a tricky thing with LinkedIn. She's connected. Susie and I are 1, right? Jamie and I are 2. Let's say Lula is connected to Jamie, but not to Susie. She's 3. Now, the sales, the premium gets me to connect with people like in the third 3 people like or 2 more removed from me. In other words, like you have your initial connection, you're connected, you can see everyone that's connected to that person. I think without the premium version, you can't. So that's one thing. It just gets you into a wider network. Now, if I'm searching entrepreneurs in New Jersey and Jamie pops up and I could message her, the thing, and this is why I don't really like to be friends with too many Isagenix people, but most people aren't going to do this. If they're running off a software program, like Drew Berman had sent me a connection request, and it was such a generic introduction. I knew it wasn't him speaking to me, because he wouldn't talk to me that way. And I'm like, he's using this program. I am not connecting with him, because once I connect with him, that program's going to start going into people I'm connected to. So that's something to just be mindful of. Now, you would like to think that people are going to have integrity around that, but you just don't know, So when I was using the program, I would send out, it would automatically send out, I had a search that was searching for entrepreneurs in North America, like entrepreneurs in, at the time it was Northwestern US and Canada. So that's how I connected with Vladimir. My message, this is what I wrote myself. Thanks for connecting. I'm looking for like-minded entrepreneurs. Would love to set up time to exchange some ideas. And he's like, about what? And then I just picked up the reply and customized it here. And this is, I wouldn't do this again. But I still, this is kind of spammy maybe, but we stayed in touch. Actually, I got to get back to him. Over the past 8 years, maybe not. He asked me about what, and I was pretty much to the point. And I think that's respectful. I don't think, but like I told him what I did, but I also went in to see, what he may have to offer. So I think this is actually a pretty decent response. You guys with me so far? So then we talk music, and we just started to talk here, And then I was like off and on. So one thing that's great, you could always say, hey, I've been off the platform or whatever. And we just been checking up now. I've yet to take this offline and talk to him. I don't think I have. We're just like back and forth. This is interesting. So we're just back and forth, but I actually was able to build a good rapport with him through messaging. I don't know, maybe I haven't seen a reason to get onto a call because he's just very busy writing books and in his wheelhouse and that kind of thing. So I need to respond here because his last message here, he's telling me about his book.
Can you
know.
share about the verbiage that you shared yesterday from that post that you did?
What do you mean?
You shared a
This
verbiage,
here?
a verbiage. I don't know. You posted something. You shared a verbiage before, something that you posted, and you got. I don't know.
Oh, I
think-
didn't, no, it's what I say when I'm in networking groups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat before we jump off. So Zuma, you weren't on. I don't know if you're still on. I can't see the whole screen. But yeah, and I'll share the outline. So it's let me just see it. I probably have it written somewhere and I'll just copy it and paste it because I think I sent it to Jamie in an inbox. So I'll send it to you guys. So just back and forth. This lady here, she had sent me a connection request, right? So she came right at it, right? She's a network marketer. Now, interesting enough, the company she's with is the one that Travis Garza left to go to, right when a terrible tragic accident happened in Idaho. So we started talking there. And of course, like a lot of network marketers, she's 100% in belief in her company. And she just started. So, but you could just see, like, does this feel good with someone approaching you this way? Now, when a network marketer approaches me, I entertain it. And I feel like this could be someone on my team trying to, get going. I always want to be encouraging, but I also know the value of network marketers, to Jimmy Smith's point. So yes, Farah. Farah, you have a question?
I did before.
Oh, okay.
I already spoke. Yeah.
So working on a health and charity project with a few multi-million-dollar businessmen. That's like, to me, is like, so I'm like, good luck, or you check it out. It's like, so it's just kind of spammy. Again, this particular one, we didn't really develop any type of common ground, no like and trust. So she said Kayani, and then this was with the plane crash and like work with Travis, and she just started. And then we started to get into like some common ground, like say hello to Travis, So this is good. So then I ended up, again, I'm back in activity here. And now I'm just like, oh, let me reach out. I'm getting back active on here. Gone through my messages, figured out, say hello, how you doing? So this is good. Like we're building some kind of rapport. Is this helpful to see? Okay, so this guy, James, it took me a couple of days. Now you don't have to respond. You don't have to reply right away either, right? You can process it and come up with a way that you want to reply. So he asked me a question. Never met this guy. I have no idea until I looked at his profile. I don't know anything about him. So do you have the capacity to take on more clients in your coaching program right now? And I'm like, that's a really good question, actually. Last weekend we generated, 27 new qualified clientele opportunities. I'm like, I certainly do not want to enroll 27 people in a month. I could not manage that. But so he's going right to this value proposition. I realize this guy has no idea what I do. Right. So I got to it, as a network marketer, I'm not sure that would be a fit for an advertising campaign. And it took me a couple of days to think about this because I was just going to blow him off. But why? I'm here to network. Who knows? Who knows about him and who knows who he knows? So we went back and forth. And he's like, my targeting must have been off a tad. What kind of clients are you? So this, are you working with right now? And this goes back to the point with me where it's like text messaging. So you kind of go back and forth and finally I'm just like, let's pick up the phone. So I'm just answering, what I do. Then when he got to this question, I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. I'm like, if you want to set up a call, I'll be happy to speak to you. Right. So we're talking at 10 o'clock this morning. You get it? Right. And here's the thing, when I get on a call with him, it's all about him. Let me just say, tell me more, like, how did you get involved with what you do? Why are you so passionate about it? Who's your ideal client? How long have you been doing it? What else are you looking to do to expand? I want to see if he starts asking me more about me. And then naturally, maybe we'll get some common ground going, and maybe it leads to something, but I have no expectations. I'm not going into this like, I'm going to try to reverse pitch him and enroll him into Isogenics and blah, blah, blah. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe he's like, wow, this is cool. Maybe he thinks of someone that he knows that I could help, and vice versa. This guy's another guy. It's been amazing developing a relationship with him, but he's in Africa right now, so I can't really can't get anything going with him. But he's responsive. We've developed rapport. You can really get connected with people, and that's how I work it. These sponsored reach outs. Like, I don't know.
Oh my God, how crazy. Louisa,
This guy?
the Sal Yi Casey.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bot because we both talked to her.
I don't know. Like some things I just think about, like I'm going back and forth. This woman, she was like, it's funny because she kind of swung around to see. This is kind of funny too. She had reached out to me. This is back April 1st, right? She seems really nice. And she's like, how'd you get into LinkedIn? And I'm just sharing with her and stuff. We actually had a conversation, she and I, at some point. Oh no, this is back. She was like, so I got to it, because she asked, whatever. I don't hide it. So then that was it. This kind of just went, just died. And this died because this is when I don't know. I don't know why I stopped messaging her. This is when COVID had just hit. I was probably off the platform for a bit. So she's trying to stir something up here, right? So I just was like, you know what? Let me just see if I can get her on the phone. If I can't, there's no reason to continue with this. And all of a sudden she becomes schedule's pretty full. My internet business, like she's dropping a seed here. Got me on the go. It's been a blessing. How, as your eyes suggest,
She's got a
didn't
good
even ask.
personality though. She goes, welcome back to the party.
Yeah, she's a pisser. She's cool, right? So doing well, I'm doing well too. Business is great. So, and I was just answering her honestly. I'll probably circle back around and just say, hey, I know you've been busy. You said your busy schedule. If things are cleared up, I want to know more about your internet business, and just get her on the phone and see what happens. It can't hurt. So again, my objective is to get offline and on into a conversation and know who's who. And some of these are good, some of these are not, but they're all authentic in my answers. This is someone I met in a networking group. I do want to talk to her, but I have an advantage here too, because she's being coached by my coach. So that's always a good plus, right? See, this guy was on the networking group that we're on. Just to give you an idea, that group is like $1,200 a year or something to join. I think it's $2,000 a year to join that particular networking group. So this comes to the point. Do I want to invest in this? How fast can I make the money back? And it just depends where you are in your business. Right now, I don't need anything else but to get in front of people. So with the executive lifestyle bonuses, 2 enrollments a month, all that kind of stuff, I get 2 enrollments a month out of this group. I'm in the executive leadership pools, like the lifestyle bonus, it pays for the networking group. So I'm always thinking about what am I investing in now, as long as I'm a 10 in going into action into the investment. And it was a great question that my coach had asked me when we went through, like, it was her whole buyer's journey was like weeks of Zoom calls, going through her overview of what she brings to the table. She works with a lot of corporations. So I had to kind of say, this is how it translates into my business and stuff. She charges a lot of money for corporations and all sorts of stuff. But she asked me a question, said, if we were to partner up, what's your, like, are you going to do whatever it takes to make this happen? Because then we're just wasting each other's time if you're not. She didn't even say on a scale of 1 to 10, but she said, how willing are you to be fully invested into the activity that I'm going to coach you into? Great question. We asked that question too. Like, Jamie, right, we've uncovered some pain points on how, whatever it is, we'll repeat what they are. On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to making that change happen? It's okay to qualify, because no one wants to be wasting time these days. And just circling back to what Jamie was saying about how people prospect, or we get prospected. I really feel that the climate's very different in business, where people are just trying to figure out who's in my network. Is there potential for collaboration or not? Maybe down the road there is. Do I know I can trust them? And that's the whole point I wanted to drive home with this. And to the point with how we get approached. My coach was approached by quite a few Isagenix people, and she's like, I would never do business with them. Why? This is how they approached me. It really does matter, I think one of the things we run into that's kind of tough is we know we have something of value to people. Not everyone's going to go that route. I have friends in really poor health that are very overweight, that are on multiple medications. God forbid they'd be open to drinking a shake or doing a cleanse day. They're just not going to do it. I can't turn the stones into gold. I'm like looking for the gold, and I can't coach people into action who aren't willing to go into action. And I find to me personally, that's probably the most difficult thing about doing this, is I know I could help so many people that are close to me and they're unwilling to try it, and I had to let go of that, as it pertains to the vision. I want to know what Luis's vision is, or Suma's vision is, Liliana, what your vision is, and is this something that's going to help you get there, whether it's in your health and wellness, maybe creating some extra income, maybe you're wired to be an entrepreneur and you're just boxed in like I was into something that's not serving you and it's depleting you. That's where I was in corporate America. I can cover that with conversations and just get people to see this over time with multiple exposures. And going back to the information offer and the buyer's journey and all that kind of stuff, it's through the invitations, right? One-on-one conversation, come take a look. Here's a video, here's a Facebook group, here's a Wealthy Wednesday, here's an event coming up. And that's the process. It's network marketing 101. So hope this was helpful. I'll drop in the chat right now that verbiage.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for taking the time. It's a great way for us to leverage with a bunch of people that are on the call instead of doing individual calls. And does anybody have any questions for Stephen before we wrap up? Go ahead, James.
I do. Okay, so Stephen, when you're in your networking groups and you finally get on a Zoom or a call with these people and you're like, learn about them, listen to them. Do you have like a strategized list of questions that you ask them that, a good flow for them, and what's like important to ask them once you get in there? Because I'm brand new to this strategy. Like, this is coming out of my comfort zone and completely changing what I've been doing this whole time. So I want to be prepared with good questions to ask, prospects.
I love that. Does this feel better for you?
Yes.
Okay.
It feels like I'm going to like a business and not just like all over. Even though I'm reaching out every day, it's just kind of like non-productive. So this is a plan and production, I think, for me anyway.
Yeah. And to me, it's important to feel good in the prospecting. And I had to figure that piece out. It took me like 6 weeks to figure that out. What makes me feel good? And because if you don't feel good, you're not going to do it. And people sense it out. So yes, I do have questions. My first question is, Jamie, if there are 2 or 3 things you can identify in your life that you would want to change, what are they and why? And I pause and they'll say it. And I'll say, when was the last time you felt that, I want to lose weight. I want to do whatever. I need money, stress. When's the last time you felt like you were there where you want to be, or what's going to be different if those 3 things changed? What have you done? I keep unpacking it. What have you done to try to change those in the past? What's worked, what hasn't? And I just think of unpacking, and it really comes from a place of curiosity. And I may at some point, because that's what I like about Zoom, getting a read on people's expressions, maybe like, I'm not trying to put you on a hot seat, I'm just trying to understand where you come from. I may or may not have something to help you. I may ask permission. It is okay if I ask some more questions. And sometimes I'll throw humor in there or whatever, but it depends because everyone's different. You know, this guy the other day, he's like, give me all the clinical data studies. I'm going to read them all. I was like, I haven't read them all. Like there's people that will geek out on like his level of intelligence was, and I should say his level of knowledge in science was so much greater than mine, you know, but I had the tool to give him, but I had to find out what does he want to look at? You know, what would he be interested in? So, you know, so I'm just, again, like just, it sounds weird, probing questions, if you will. It's like a corporate America thing. But if there are 2 or 3 things you could change and why, what's going to be different if you do? And then that on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, if you're getting to this point, right? And this is, I think, more on an exploratory call, not an invitation call. If they're seeing value and you're working to customize a pack, how committed are you to achieving those 3 goals we talked about? And the important thing in coaching is when you dial into the why of what they want and why, when the road gets tough, and it always does, and the bad habits start to, you know, bully the good habits, you got to go back and remind them of the why, you know? And I feel like this feels so much better in collaboration rather than transactional selling, because you're really taking authentic interest in someone's life when you ask questions. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I also have
Yeah.
a list, just exactly almost what Stephen was asking. We have it in.
All right. Those are great questions, but that's more towards people that you're trying to enroll, right? I'm talking about like, and those are great too. And I'll take those, Susie, but I'm talking about in terms of like when you're meeting prospects on LinkedIn and you just want to get to know them and what their goals are with their business, like exploratory questions about them, interests about them.
Yeah, I
understand
love
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah, so I would say, Jamie, you're a financial advisor. How did you get involved in that? How long? What makes you so passionate about that? I assume they're passionate, right? Like, why are you so passionate about it? Because then also it's something like that. You may have someone's like, wow, I really love helping people. Common ground, you know? So I want to know, why do they choose their endeavor? What makes them passionate about it? How long are they doing it? You know, are they doing anything else? You know, things like that. That's, again, I got to get off this call because I got to get on this call at 10. But that's what I'm going to ask. This looks like a young guy. Wow, this, you know, tell me about what you do. Who's your ideal client? How do you find your clients? Like, just what are they doing out there? You know, that's what
Okay,
happened with
good,
me and
cool.
Jim. Like, I was like so curious with Jim. Like, Jim, he has an invisible product. It's like they came up with a molecule that disinfects like things, and I'm like, that's gonna be a hard sell. I say no, I'm like, I have a hard enough time. I could show visual results. He's like, trust me, this works, you know. And he's getting very much into the science. I'm like, how do you go about finding your clientele? And I just get really curious. So just get really curious to understand what makes them, you know, what drives them, and then how do they do it? Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
All right, let me
Thank
jump
you
'cause
for coming and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can do it again.
We
All right,
appreciate
I gotta
it.
get, speaking of which, I gotta
Okay.
get on this call now.
Bye, Susan.
Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for joining.
All right,
Bye.
love you all. Okay,
Thank you,
bye.
Susie. Bye.